Hand loaders, bullet casters, welcome back to my bench. I have got something great for you. I am going to continue and end, finally, our discussion on cylinder throats. So here's the thing, there's a little pattern I have, I guess. I have got so much time in my life invested into understanding cast that when I put these videos together, it's not so much a matter of trying to come up with information. It's more of a matter of trying to filter out the information that I can't really fit in or turns into overkill. So I dwell on a video after I'm done and I realize, gosh, I really need to get some more stuff out, but time constraints, I don't want to lose my viewers. The attention spans are kind of short sometimes. So look, just bear with me, folks. I got something new for you here, something different. This is not a Ruger GP100, folks. This is my Charter Arm Bulldog in 44 Special, the target model with adjustable sights. I even got wood grips for it. Okay, the reason I'm bringing this guy up is it is awful hard to work with and discuss 44 without bringing up the Bulldog. And this is not a caliber specific thing that I'm teaching. It's good for 38 Special. It's good for any straight wall pistol cartridge, especially if it's going to be in a revolver. So what I want to talk about now is the problem with having an oversized bullet. Because I bet a lot of people are figuring, well, if I measure my cylinder throats and I come up with, hey, let's pick on 357 right now. If I slug my cylinder throats and my throats are at 357, which is good, then I'm going to use a 358, 359 bullet, maybe, I don't know, a 360 bullet. And that way, I know for sure that I can seal up those hot gases. Leadsmith will be proud of me. Well, I'm happy that you're thinking on that lines, but I want to tell you something. If you're running oversized bullets through your throat, there's a good chance you're also doing damage to your revolver. Now, I specifically brought out this Bulldog because I want you to see what it takes to get a bullet through the cylinder, through the throat. This bullet I have cast not for this gun, for my Ruger. This bullet is simply just too big for the throats on this little whoa, Charter Arm Bulldog. It deserves its own set of respect, folks. It's a love or hate gun. I really like the gun. It's 44. What can I say? I like it. So I'm going to show you what one of these cylinder throats look like. And I'm going to show you why I believe we're doing a disservice to our firearms if we're shooting bullets through these throats that are oversized. Okay? So once again, folks, here we are in my giant mean orange vise here, slugging this little ball right through. Now, folks, I think I have not mentioned before, these things need to be dead soft lead. If we are not using dead soft lead, then what we are getting ultimately is something called springback, because alloyed lead is going to contain just easier to keep that up, I reckon. Alloyed lead is typically going to contain some kind of hardening agent like antimony. Tin will even do some hardening. Most of our wheel weight lead is full of tin and antimony. Well, I say that, but that's kind of not true. It's got tin and antimony in it, but it's a very low percentage. However, you only need a very low percentage in order to get that hardening effect that a lot of times we'll call springback. And I'm going to discuss springback a little bit more, but not in this video. Just a simple word of advice. Make sure whatever lead you're using, it doesn't have to be a round ball. Make sure it's dead soft. No sense in, pushing something through that's just going to spring back and skew your numbers. So this might come out with just a push. Ooh. This one does not want to come out with just a push. I'll give it a little tap with the old brass punch. Well, that's even hard on my table. I guess we got lucky on the other ones. I didn't have to do this with my Ruger. Does this mean it's a tighter fit? I don't know. We're gonna get there though. And it's through. My little letter ring decided to stick around this time. That's all right. Let's see if we can get a better image of what we got here. Come on, camera, focus. There it is. And once again, mounted right back up in this vise, what do we get? Again, 4/10. We just passed this 5. So this makes 430. If you recall from my last video, 430 thousandths. I guess I could get kind of technical and look at this veneer scale. Might as well, since I got it, right? If I can do it without shaking you around too much. And I've got one line that matches up. Can you guess what it is? From your angle, it might not look like it's matching, but from my angle, it looks pretty good. That's a 2. 0.4302 is our measurement here. Do I dare say that these throats are perfectly concentric? No. It's just not that high end of a gun, folks. We might have a low spot in there, a high spot in that measurement. Whenever we start measuring around the radius, then we might be kind of surprised to see what we come up with. Certainly not up to the level of my GP100, but we did get one particular measurement. Class, let's recall that measurement, 0.430. Do we really want to? Well, let's put it up there. We'll put a little 2 right there. 0.4302. Why is that 2 so small? It's just not necessary for what we're doing, but it's pretty cool that we had the means to measure it. If you recall, see, this is my Bulldog. Yeah, Bulldog. I like abbreviating stuff because some words are just hard to spell. All right, GP100, what we came up with was 0.432. And I don't know, we'll put a little 2 right there too because we had a 2 on that. I can spell GP100 just fine, folks. So we're going to write it out. I'm a little shaky. Hadn't had enough coffee, maybe too much coffee kind of thing going on here. We might need a little more light. There we go. So I used bullets in my GP100 that are sized for this. I use smaller bullets for this one, folks. Now, some people are going to say, well, use that bullet in that Charter Arm Bulldog because you're definitely going to get a good seal, Leadsmith, and you be correct. But I have an aversion to this, and now I'm about to show you why. This is one of my sized and lubed bullets that I load for my GP100, and as you see, we're about 2 thousandths over throat diameter. Let's try to push this bad boy through. I already showed y'all this earlier. We got a problem here, folks. We have a problem. Let's see, I bet you I can get it in there. If I don't beat up my dang gun first. Alright, that's not working. So I'm gonna squish it in with my vise. How about that? Okay, check her out, folks. Almost there. Come on, camera, go where you're supposed to. There it is. That bullet, we're just getting her started in there. Okay, now let's see if we can get her in the rest of the way. Man. Still. Let's see if we can push it in. There he is. Finally went through. Finally. Look. Had to dent up the bullet nose to get it to run through. Had to use a vise to get it started. Had to use a hammer to push it the rest of the way through. Man, if I keep shooting bullets like this through my Bulldog, or any revolver for that matter, do you think it's any easier for your gun to get that bullet through the throat than it was just now? I just used a 5-inch vise. I just used a hammer. And then and only then was I able to push this bullet through the throat. Okay, let's look up here, guys. Look up here. Back to the drawings, because this is important. You'd be surprised how many people think this is okay. When that bullet ignites, when that powder ignites, we're pushing that bullet forward through the throat. The case has fully seated and expanded against the chamber walls. The explosion is causing equal and opposite reaction. Come on, 8th grade science class. Y'all know what I'm talking about, but do we as grown-ups? Sometimes we forget this stuff. So we're slamming our case back and we're slamming the cylinder forward. We get over here, bullet has passed the cylinder gap, past the forcing cone, past this possible restriction. Finally, it's here, fully engraved in the rifling. Hot gas is still exploding, pushing that cylinder back. Cylinder is getting dragged forward by the propelling bullet, slamming into the frame, possibly slamming into the forcing cone. Folks, we're hammering our cylinders against the forcing cone if we're using an oversized bullet. What do you think this does to our guns after a while? What do you think this does for our wallets? We got to go to a gunsmith now, our favorite revolver. It's not lighting its primers. You know why? It's not lighting its primers because there's so much play now right here. There's so much play in this cylinder that every time that hammer falls and it hits the primer, all it's doing is pushing the cylinder forward. And we think we got bad primers. There's nothing wrong with your primers, folks. They work very well. So, what's the moral of the story? What is the lesson? There is such a thing as too big of a bullet. There is such a thing as too small of a bullet. Now, if I can cram that bullet, that oversized bullet, into the throat, that's 2/1000ths over or even more. Maybe I'm also scraping lead off, and it's piling up right there inside the throat, inside the cylinder gap. Maybe it's plating the forcing cone. So I harp a lot about gas cutting. But folks, sometimes we can lead cut just by mechanical means. Let's avoid it. It's not hard. Use a bullet that fits, folks. So folks, that's about all I've got for you on cylinder throats. Next, we're going to jump right through the barrel cylinder gap and into the forcing cone. So like and subscribe.